Hey everyone, welcome to At the Buzzer. I'm joined by Ryan. Ryan, how you doing?
Brian, I'm doing really well. It's a great time as a hoops fan, right? Got the All Star Weekend, which has kind of been known for disappointing in recent years, but I think there's some things to be optimistic about for this year, which we'll talk about. And then college basketball is rolling. I'm doing well.
Yeah, no, well, first, I'm glad to hear that. And yeah, second, I think what we'll do, we'll talk a little bit about the All Star festivities, and then we'll come back for the viewers. They won't know any different, but we'll come back and talk about how the tournament went. Probably two different segments in the episode. So, how did the All Star festivities go in your eyes?
Yesterday, so I didn't watch all of it. I ended up getting roped up during the skills competition, which I forgot about. It is fun to watch. All I kind of know is that there were some shenanigans. I think mostly with the Spurs in terms of Chris Paul apparently played around with the rules and argued with the refs about it, which he's kind of known for in general. If you don't know that about Chris Paul, loves arguing with refs. And yeah, they were disqualified from the skills competition. So I didn't watch that. I didn't really deep dive on it because honestly, I was like, that kind of sounds like a thing that can happen for sure. Yeah, so I'll move on to the 3-point contest. Watching that, I mean, I love the 3-point contest. I don't know about you, bro. I'm someone like I enjoy just even for fun, like shooting the basket. I love watching guys shoot. It just kind of hits those dopamine levels as you see those guys like hit like 4 or 5 in a row, and then they hit the money ball. To me, it's a very appealing format. I think it was Buddy Hield started off really strong, and he's actually won before. And he was someone. For me, I think I had like 4 guys. I was like, yeah, these are the 4 guys I can kind of see winning. Like, why didn't I have Buddy Hield? A couple guys got eliminated early that weren't expected to, including Dame Lillard, who had won previously, and actually, despite not like super strong. Like I think he barely snaked in the first round, and then he had like a score of 24 in the second. Tyler Harrow, which is like decent and respectable, but it's not like a high score. He ended up winning the 3-point contest. And so I think that was his first one. And, he's definitely kind of known as a guy who shoots. So that kind of just, further creates, the career he's building for himself. And, kind of cool to see as past the Jimmy Butler stuff, he's kind of becoming the guy. And yeah, that's all I got for the 3-point contest. I mean, I personally love the 3-point contest. I think it's pretty fun. I would have liked to see, I'd have to look, they probably went by percentages this year, but I feel like there's some other guys that I think could have been more exciting. Like you have some really good shooters in there. And like, I think someone like Buddy Hield, he's not having the strongest 3-point season, but to be fair, he's just like a shooter. Like I could see like why you'd want someone like that in there, but like also put some of like the really high end guys, like even like, people who are just like, throw in like a Luke Kennard or like someone like that. And then I think like there's always going to be the guys who are just known for their shooting that we're going to want to watch, like, like the Currys of the world. I'm sure he just didn't want to do it this year.
Over it. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I think everyone gets there eventually.
Well, the big talk of the town is a slam dunk contest. Because we got a 2-way player winning it 3 times in a row. Tell me about McClung's 3-peat. Chiefs couldn't do it. He did. So I don't know.
Did you say a 2-way player?
Isn't he on a 2-way contract?
Oh, I thought
I don't know if he actually gets into the league.
Offense and defense. I was like, I would think like you have to look closely at it, but his defense, I got to think, probably isn't like helping him.
There are reasons why he's not, a one-way.
Yeah, there's not to say that's like the primary reason, but
yeah,
we could talk all about that. Yeah, the fact that, it's a super interesting circumstances, right? It's like this guy who is, he was literally a star in college. It was him and Zion in their class. He's a high school star, and he has just struggled to make it in the NBA. But 3 years ago, people are like, you got to get this guy. And you can see why. He's made the most amazing dunks. I mean, I was out shoveling and came in for there's just the tail end of the first one over the car, and I mean, you can just see like they show multiple like big NBA players, like
Yeah.
yeah, at one point like Giannis, even Mitchell is like, he's just like, oh my god, like, and he's just insane. And I think even one of the judges was like, yeah, that was on his last one. He's like, that's the second best dunk I've ever seen. And I'm only saying second best because maybe there's got to be something in there that was maybe better. But he goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just so incredible in this format. But like, it's kind of gotten to this interesting thing where it's like literally like, well, that's all you do. Like, if we're talking, think about the 3-point contest. Like, I'm sure there's some guy out there. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but there's probably some dude who just like, has like a basketball setup hoop in his house. And like, I don't know. I'm sure there's some guy that can nail a bunch of threes out
Who's
there.
that guy? Is it Lethal Shooter? Is that his name? Or like
Yeah, that's
something where he does like the weird ones with like knives in the
yeah.
basket?
I wouldn't say it's quite at that level, but like sometimes you do kind of think to yourself, like, man, why doesn't McClung just go to like what was Dude Perfect or
Dude
something?
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where but no, so the thing is he still is in the NBA. It does definitely seem like the reason why he's still in is for that. So I think that's kind of maybe that's why he's like he said at the end of yesterday. Each dunk was maybe better than the other. I actually thought the second one, it was just like for me, it's just like, man, his delivery, it's not even like the tricks, like just his ability to like how much air he gets and just like slam the ball. It like he's really made an art of it.
Mhm.
But he announced at the end, right? Like, kind of like, yeah, I think this is probably it, unless they
Yeah.
find someone really juicy. Where he's like, come on, I'm tired. I feel like he's like, I'm tired of getting jerked off here. Like,
Yeah.
and personally, I don't really. I mean, I could kind of go into if that's where we want to go, like the angle, because I've thought a lot about it.
Sure.
There's as far as like why he hasn't been in the NBA, he's not in the NBA because you look at his athleticism, it's like there's got to be a place for him somewhere, right? And I was like, what kind of player? But he's 6'2". Um, he's usually going to be in the point guard position. Sometimes guys that small will play an off the ball like shooting guard position a little bit, and uh, the league's pretty positionless these days anyways. You're going to take a loss no matter what if you have a guy that's small out there. And again, he's got that incredible vertical. You would think like, why can't he translate that to get some blocks? Or, he seems like a guy with his athleticism and knack for timing could also get some steals too. So I really thought about it. I was like, I don't see like why he couldn't work towards like a Cole Anthony role. If you know who Cole Anthony is, he was like, kind of just this like point guard on the Orlando Magic who, right, he shoots really well. He's crazy athletic, great dunker, has some great shot blocks, but like just is kind of a selfish player, makes some poor decisions. He's never right. You're kind of in a rock between a rock and a hard place because he'll put up numbers, but he's really just an energy bench player. I see no reason why Matt couldn't at least be this. So I think this is where it goes down to like, right, these are why the people that have been studying this stuff their whole lives that are like scouts, I've got to assume it's because like looking at that stuff, someone like Cole Anthony, people might think doesn't have a high basketball IQ. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think it's more a personality thing in the decision making in the moment because of like the personality thing where, and that's part of why he has some of the skills he does because he probably thinks he's better than guys he's not better than. Right. And Mac might be lacking in that IQ standpoint at an NBA level in terms of the processing, in just ways like, we're not able to see. But I've got to think it's something like that. I wish someone would give him a chance. I would love to see it. At this point, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, it probably unfortunately is someone directly buying into, hey, let's keep this guy in the dunk contest.
Right.
But I would like to see it, and I'd like to think if he plays, he could prove people wrong. I mean, obviously he's very talented. And he did win G League Player of the Year. He's been successful on a number of levels, and I mean, he's not going to be able to dunk like that all the time, but he'll make a couple highlights, I bet. So
Yeah, no doubt. So, you know, that's very interesting to all of our listeners. What are your thoughts? Why do you think Mac hasn't broken through to the NBA? And if you're listening to the full segment, stick around. We're going to talk about the All-Star tournament. Should be very fun. But if you're not, please like this video, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.